Very good morning to all the students. So today we shall have a very important chapter in connection with the machine tools. So we have already learned in the previous session in connection with the different types of reciprocating machines like shapers, slotters and planers, with their differences, with their applications, and with the purpose of for what purpose these machines are being used in industries as well as in the machine shops or workshops. So now along with that, one of the important machine tools is known as a drilling machine. So in this drilling machine, because even the operation of drilling of holes on different types of jobs need to be carried out in industries. So depending upon the type of a workpiece, depending upon the floor space area, different types of drilling machines are being installed. And not only that, you require to understand, though it is possible to carry out the drilling operation even in case of a lathe machine, especially on cylindrical jobs, it is necessary that these drilling machines are designed to carry out the drilling operations on flat workpieces. So for that purpose, these drilling machines are being designed and used in industries. Before we proceed with the today's presentation, so in the today's session we are going to discuss about basically what is the meaning of a drilling. Okay, because generally it is a very common sense and a very practically used application. So whenever we want to drill a hole, we require to use a multi-point cutter that is known as a drill, or sometimes we call it as a twist drill because it is having a multiple cutting edges. So you have already gone through all these things, because whenever you are going to call a carpenter or electrician, okay, they are going to drill a hole. So the inside there is a motor, the motor is used, and the whatever the cutter is there that they are going to use, that is called as a twist drill, okay, which is having the multiple point cutting edges through which there is means it is possible to go for the drilling operation. So now we require to understand the same principle in detail, how it can be applicable in the industries. So today's session we are going to discuss about working principle of drilling, introduction to drilling machine, types of drilling machines, construction of a drilling machine, okay, and working of in that radial drilling machine, and drilling operations in brief with the sketches. So let us understand the basic principle of drilling here. So as you are going to see clearly, without using the cutter or without using the cutting tool, it is not possible to carry out any type of operation, and this is called as a twist drill, multi-point cutter, and this is the rotation of the workpiece, and along with that we also require to give the feed, and this is the workpiece that is being held firmly in a machine table of a drilling machine. This is a very common practice that is used in case of different types of drilling machines whenever we want to carry out the production of a hole of the required diameter in a given workpiece. The rotating edge of the drill exerts a large force on the workpiece and the hole is generated. The removal of the metal in a drilling operation is by shearing and extrusion. So if you are going to think practically how these holes are being drilled, that is due to the shearing and extrusion process of the material through which it is possible to produce a hole in the workpiece. Drilling machine is used to drill blind and through holes in the workpieces. Basically, whenever we are going to consider, there are two important concepts here. Okay, generally the drilling machine is used for drilling of the blind holes, means the holes depending upon the thickness of the workpiece. Either we can go for a through hole. Through hole means for a hole where it is generated from top to bottom, that is called as a through hole, or we can have only hole to a certain depth. So such a hole we are going to call it as a blind hole, because we want to see that some other part can be inserted in that portion. That is very, very important here to be understood. So now let us understand in detail about the introduction to drilling machine. The drilling machine is one of the most important machine tools in workshops. Just I have told about that. As regards its importance, it is second only to the lathe. Means it is if you are going to see the development in the technology of towards the machining operations or machine tool developments, we need to understand the first one, the mother of the machine tool is called the lathe machine, and the very next to that is the drilling machine, where it is important that because any assembling to be carried out between the two parts, we require to go for the drilling of holes. So then it became important, significant to go for the discovery or invention of the drilling machines. In a drilling machine, holes can be drilled quickly at low cost. So why this is designed? Basically, in a drilling machine, it is possible to see that the hole is drilled at a low cost. Okay, the hole is generated by the rotating edges of a cutting tool known as the drill, which exerts large force on the work clamped on the workpiece. First, we require to clamp, means we require to hold the workpiece firmly, because the work table is provided with the top T slots, wherein either I can go for the clamping of the workpiece in a vise, or directly, if it is a large one, if the workpiece is large, it can be directly held on a drilling machine, and it is possible to drill the hole at the required location on the clamped workpiece on the table. As the machine tool exerts a vertical pressure to originate a hole, it is loosely called a drill press. Sometimes we call it as a drill press also. Okay, drilling machines are made in many types and sizes. Each is designed to handle a class of work or specific jobs to the best advantage. So depending upon the type of workpiece to be machined, okay, or what type of holes and what directions it has to be produced, the various designs of drilling machines have been discovered depending upon their construction and applications. So generally there are 8 types of main drilling machines commonly used. The first one is called as a portable drilling machine. This is a very common type, which just I have given an example. If you are going to call a carpenter or electrician to drill a hole, what he is going to do? He is going to bring a portable drilling machine, where it can be taken from one place to another, and definitely the drill of the hole that it generated is relatively of a small diameter. Okay, we cannot go for a larger diameter drilling, but now the technology has developed to such an extent, even we can go for that also. Sensitive drilling machine. So as the name itself indicates, see, all these 8 types of machines which you are going to see on the screen are basically used for generating the holes on a given workpiece. Depending upon their design, they are being named, and depending upon their applications. Sensitive means, as the name itself indicates, it is used for relatively small diameter holes and small workpieces. Upright drilling machine, radial drilling machine, gang drilling machine. So gang drilling machine means the number of holes being to be drilled. In such cases, we are going to use the gang drilling machine. Multiple spindle drilling machine. That means certain machines are having multiple spindles. So at a time, it is possible to generate holes of different diameters. That is called as the multiple spindle drilling machine. Automatic drilling machine and deep hole drilling machines. So deep hole drilling machines are especially the requirements whenever we want to drill a hole on a very lengthy tubes or lengthy workpieces. So let us understand in brief, then we are going to proceed with the further understanding of the working of a drilling machine. It is a small machine designed for drilling small holes at high speeds in light jobs. Suppose if the workpiece is having a very less thickness and very light in weight, and the diameter of the hole to be drilled is also small, then there is a preference of a machine known as a sensitive drilling machine. It may be a bench or a floor mounted. So that is why, because basically the sensitive drilling machine weight itself is less, and it can be mounted on a bench or a floor, through which it is possible to go for the drilling of a very small hole on light workpieces or small weight workpieces. It consists of a base, a vertical column, a horizontal table, a head supporting the motor and driving mechanism, and a vertical spindle for driving and rotating the drill. And in this case, we are not discussing, just for understanding purpose, we are making you to bring aware that how the drilling machines are being used. The total drilling operation is manually controlled. Here, in case of a sensitive drilling machine also, we are going to control the drilling operation manually only. The machine is capable of drilling holes from 1.5 to 15 millimeters. So that you can see very here, the maximum diameter of the hole that can be drilled is around 15 millimeters, that too on light weight workpieces. So now our main focus on the today's topic of discussion is the radial drilling machine. Though we have discussed 8 types, so our main aim is to study in detail about the radial drilling machine, which is the most commonly used type. It is going to have minimum 10 parts, as you are going to see clearly on the screen. The base, as you are going to see here, base is definitely considered as the main element for supporting all the other elements of the machine tool. Next comes is the column. So this is called as the column, and it's called as the column, as you are going to see clearly here. Then this is called as the radial arm. Radial arm means this can be rotated. If you are going to see from the top, okay, this entire arm can be rotated through the required angle. That is why it is called as a radial arm. Then you are going to have a drill head. This is called as a drill head. So I wanted to make it slightly bigger here. So this is called as a drill head. Then this is called as a table, which is having a T-slot, which you are going to see there. Then this is called as an elevating screw, through which it is possible to move this radial arm up and down, and motor for driving the spindle, and drill spindle is also there. Then you will be having the guideways. Okay, this is called as a guideways, through which it is possible to make the column to move up and down. And the last one is called as a motor for elevating arm. Okay, this is called as a motor for elevating arm. So these are called as the different parts of the radial drilling machine, which we are going to discuss in detail again with the sketch there. Observe carefully. Base, as we know very well, definitely the base is always made of a rectangular type. Generally the drilling machines base is of a rectangular type, heavy casting cast iron material. Large rectangular casting supporting heavy column to hold the radial arm and table to hold the jobs. Okay, column, if you are going to see, this column is always a vertical type. Okay, a circular casting it is made, but remember it is not a rectangular one. If at all you want to understand that what is the cross section, if you take, it is a round one. It is just like a, that is why it is called as a column. It's called as a circular casting fixed rigidly over the base, supporting the radial arm. As you are going to see, this the main support, whatever this radial arm is there. So this radial arm is supported on the column, and remember the column is a circular cylindrical type. Okay, and this entire radial arm can be rotated any direction, mounted firmly on a column, having guideways for horizontal movement of the drill head. That is very, very important. Okay, so it is having the guideways here, which we are not shown. So these guideways are provided on the radial arm itself, and through which it is possible to move this entire drill head. This drill head, so this is called as a drill head, and this radial arm is having the guideways, which were not shown on the sketch. So through which it is possible to give the movement to the drill head towards and away from the column. That is the main function of a radial arm. Okay, so the next part that is coming up is drill head. Let us understand what is the working of a, it is a rigid casting mounted on the radial arm, move along the guideways of a radial arm. It is having a spindle with gearbox and motor. Try to understand what are the important parts of a drill head. The important parts of the drill head includes your motor for driving, and inside there is a gearbox, and it is also going to hold your spindle along with the drill, and it is also made to move towards and away from the column on the radial arm, which is provided with the guideways. Okay, a heavy casting table, if at all you want to see, it is called as a heavy casting of rectangular or circular in shape. So this is a heavy casting, and it can be of a rectangular or it can be of a circular, okay, in shape. It consists of T-slots to clamp the jobs for drilling operation. If it is not having the T-slots, it is not possible to clamp the jobs firmly on a machine. For that purpose, it is provided with the T-slots. Now let us understand what is the function of an elevating screw. As the name itself indicates, elevating means what? One which gives a motion in a vertical direction. So that is called as an elevating. Used for raising or lowering the radial arm along the column. Now if at all I want to adjust this part, which is known as a radial arm, up and down, okay, depending upon, so this adjustment is made according to whatever the workpiece thickness is there. Depending upon the thickness, we require to, depending upon the thickness of the workpiece or the height of the workpiece to be clamped on the work table, we require to adjust this radial arm along the column. That is why we are going to consider the making the radial arm to be fitted on the column itself, depending upon the height of the workpiece to be machined. A vertical shaft, we are going to see what is the function of a drill spindle. We are now understanding about the drill spindle. Here it is nothing but a drill spindle, which you are going to see clearly. A vertical shaft holding the drill at its lower end to receive its motion from the motor through the gear mechanism, because this is a motor which is made to rotate at a constant speed, and there is a provision of a hand wheel which you are going to see, through which the cutting tool or the drill can be fed downwards like this. It's very, very important. Then also the height adjustment is achievable with the help of this radial arm and with the help of a elevating screw, which you are going to see clearly on the screen there. So now let us understand how the operation of the drilling is being carried out on a drilling machine. The radial drilling machine is intended for drilling medium to large and heavy workpieces. Basically, the main objective of the radial drilling machine, it can machine to medium and even large workpieces also, and heavy workpieces also, which are bigger in weight compared to the workpieces which are drilled on sensitive type. The machine consists of heavy round vertical column mounted on a large base. As you are going to see very clearly here, this is the base. This is the base, and on this base, this is called as a column, which is of a circular in nature. That is very, very important to understand clearly there. Okay, the column supports the radial arm, which can be raised and lowered to accommodate workpieces of different heights. So we require to see that this radial arm adjustment depends upon the height of workpiece that I wanted to consider for the drilling operation. The arm may be swung around to any position over the workbed. So this is also very important. Now whatever the arm is there, as you are going to see, this arm can be rotated along the column, and it can be also made to move up and down like this. It can be made to move up and down like this. Also it can be rotated with respect to the column. That is the main construction of your radial drilling machine. The drill head containing the mechanism for rotating and feeding the drill is mounted in a radial arm. Okay, it can be moved horizontally on the guideways and clamped at any desired position. So that is very, very important. The drill head can be clamped. The drill head means this is called as a drill head. It can be clamped in any position from this point to this point, so that it is possible to drill the hole correctly on a given workpiece. Okay, so now these three movements in a radial drilling machine, when combined together, permit the drill to be located at any desired point on a large workpiece for drilling the hole. So it is possible, because how many adjustments are possible? Observe here very carefully now once again. Suppose whatever the workpiece is there, that is mounted directly on the work table, and it is possible to adjust this part, that is the drill head, So when it is possible to adjust the drill head with respect to radial arm, then it is possible to see that the hole drilling is carried out at different locations on a given workpiece, because as it is possible even for this radial arm to be rotated with respect to the column. That is very important. Okay, so now this is about the how the working operation is being carried out. Now let us understand about what type of drilling operations. So generally, if at all the definition is asked, like define drilling means it's nothing but a production of hole. So there it is not stopped. There are various other operations which can be carried out along with the drilling operation. Though we define the drilling operation as purely the production of a internal or external hole, whatever is there, we require to understand here that further operations like reaming, like tapping is carried out. We know very well reaming means fine finishing of the hole. Tapping means nothing but the production of the holes which are being carried out. So we need to understand that in a drilling machine it is possible to have 10 different operations being carried out here. Okay, the first one is called as the drilling operation, which is a commonly used type of operation, as you are going to see. The next one is a boring operation. Boring means it is nothing but enlarging the previously drilled hole. Now generally the definition of a drilling is a production of a hole which is limited to a certain diameter only. But if at all I want to go for a larger holes, they are called as a boring operation. Counter sinking, reaming, that is a fine finishing of the hole. Counter boring, tapping, that is the production of the internal threads. Spot facing, grinding, lapping and trepanning. All these operations can be carried out on a given drilling machine itself. That is what we are going to discuss now one by one here. Okay, now let us understand about the meaning of a drilling first. So this is called as a twist drill and this is called as the workpiece. Okay, and this is made to rotate as well as it is going to be given a feeding. We know very well that this is the workpiece which is held firmly on a work table with the help of a T-slots clamps, and then we are going to give a feeding directly, and also at the same time the twist drill is made to rotate. So drilling, it is the main operation done on this machine. It is the operation of producing a circular hole in a solid metal by means of a revolving tool called as the drill. The name of the cutting tool used in case of a drilling machine is called as a drill or a twist drill, also known as a multi-point cutter. Very important. Now let us understand the second operation, that is called as the boring. So as you are going to see, it is an operation used for enlarging a hole to bring it to the required size and have a better finish. So what we are going to do in the drilling operation, as usual, we carry out the drilling of the hole. Suppose if at all I want to see that a slight finishing, not complete finishing, then we are going to carry out the same with the help of another tool called as a boring tool. Okay, counter sinking. So counter sinking means, as you are going to see very clearly, now any type of hole, if at all you observe carefully here, this is a hole. So this hole is given a slight cut like this. Okay, that is very important. As you are going to see here, this is the surface of a workpiece. This is the surface. If at all I wanted to give a hole like this, so this is the interior hole and this is the workpiece that is considered. See here very carefully. So now this shape, whatever is given, that is given to see that whatever the another solid shaft can be moved very firmly on a counter sinked hole. That operation is being carried out by a tool known as, this is called as a counter sinking tool. Okay, it is the operation used for enlarging the end of a hole. The end of a hole is enlarged. Observe carefully here. So the end of a hole is enlarged. This is the end of a hole that is being enlarged here. This one, this portion, that is called as a counter sinking tool. It is an operation used for enlarging the end of a hole to give it a conical shape for a short distance. That is very important. Conical hole is given just which I have explained now, and the name of the tool is called as a countersinking tool. Very, very important. The next important operation is called as a reaming. Okay, reaming is nothing but the finishing of the hole. Generally in a regular drilling operation, the surfaces of the hole are rough, so those have to be finished. That finishing is nothing but reaming of a hole. It is operation of finishing a hole to bring it to accurate size and have a fine surface finish. This operation is performed by means of a multi-tooth tool called as a reamer. So whatever the tool which you are going to see, this is called as a reamer and this is called as a workpiece. So this operation, the operation is just similar again, but here the movement of the tool is given the feeding is given very slow. Even the rotation is also less than half of what we are going to use in case of a drilling operation, because we want to see that the hole is finished to a perfect accuracy. Counter boring, as we are going to see the counter boring, this operation is used for enlarging only a limited portion of the hole, is called as a counter boring. See now, as you are going to see very clearly here, just I will make you understand. Now this is a general hole which is there being drilled. I want to enlarge only certain portion of a hole, but not complete to the complete depth. In such case, such an operation we call it as the counter boring. This operation is used for enlarging only a limited portion of the hole. We are not enlarging the complete portion, as you are going to see. We don't want enlargement to the complete depth. We want only to a certain depth in a workpiece. In such cases, we are going to use an operation known as a counter boring. Next one is a tapping. As you are going to see here very clearly, this is called as a tap. So this tap is nothing but having the external threads of a required pitch, which is also given, the feeding is also given very slowly inside the hollow workpiece to produce the internal threads of the desired pitch. It is operation done for forming the internal threads by means of the tool called as a tap. So this is called as a tap. Okay, and this is also given a very low feeding arrangement, and slowly it is given a feeding as well as slow rotations, so as to see that the threads are being produced correctly in a hollow workpieces. So the next important operation is known as a spot facing. Okay, it is a finishing operation to produce flat round surface, usually around a drilled hole. Very, very important for proper seating of a belt or head or nut. Very, very important. Now what we are going to do here, it is done using a special spot facing tool. This is called as a spot facing tool, and this is used for the purpose of finishing around the, it is a finishing operation to produce flat round surface usually around a drilled hole. Now this is the drilled hole, surrounding this some finishing is carried out. So such a process we call it as a spot facing. Now the next operation that is coming up is called as a grinding, where we are not comparing, or we are not differentiating between them. We need to understand that though we carry out the special operation called as a grinding in a regular grinding machine, even it is necessary to carry out the grinding operation in a drilling machine also. So it is the operation in drilling machine to finish a previously drilled hardened hole. So generally what happens, the previously drilled hole, okay, to some extent it is possible to go for the grinding. Grinding, you know very well, again the finishing operation only. The grinding wheel is made to rotate with the spindle and is fed up and down. For example, what we are going to do here is, this is the hollow workpiece, this hollow portion, and this is the workpiece if you are going to consider, okay, and this amount of the hole that is being produced. So we are going to use a grinding wheel which is given a feed like this, okay, up and down, so as to finish the surfaces of the workpiece. It is also done to correct out the roundness of the hole. Even whatever the axis of the hole is there, eccentricity can be reduced by using the operation of a grinding. In case of a lapping, it is also a finishing operation only, just like a grinding, but with a slight difference. The name of the tool is called as a lap. It is the operation of sizing and finishing a small diameter hole already hardened by removing a small amount of material using a tool called as a lap. Copper head laps are commonly used, which fits into the hole and is moved up and down while it is rotating. The process remains same here. There is not much difference between the two. If at all you want to take a hole like this, whatever the tool is there that is used is called as a lap. This is called as a lap, again, which is made to move, and this is a cylindrical one. Try to understand, this is a cylindrical one which is made to move up and down at the same time. It is rotated at a slow speed so that it is possible to produce a fine finishing and the roundness of the hole is carried out. Trepanning, this is also a very important operation. Now, trepanning is a process for making large holes in a sheet metal. So, this is the trepanning is a process where we are going to carry out, okay, the large holes on a sheet metal. On a sheet metal, if at all we want to produce large holes, then we are going to use an operation known as a trepanning. A small diameter hole is drilled in the center for drilling a large diameter hole. This is very, very important. Okay, the pilot of trepanning tool is fitted into the hole and the length of the adjustable arm is set to the radius of the hole to be cut. Holes up to diameter of 350 millimeters that you can see here, means 35 centimeters, means approximately around 3 feet, can be cut by the arrangement. So as you are going to see very clearly here, okay, this is called as the pilot, okay, and this is called as a cutting tool, which you are going to see. This is called as a cutting tool, this is called as a pilot. So this will go into this, the same portion. These two are same. Okay, first of all, the workpiece is drilled at a center hole, and in this center we are going to use this. We are going to use here clearly. Try to understand here the concepts. Okay, we are going to consider like this. This is called as a pilot, this is called as a cutting tool, and this is the radius of the hole to be drilled. But before we proceed, we require to drill a hole of the diameter so as to fit this element into this pilot. Okay, once this is fixed, okay, what we are going to do, we are start rotating with respect to this. We'll start rotating this along the surface. Okay, and this is adjustments can be made on this depending upon how much amount of we want. As the cutting tool is made to move, so that particular surface is being cut. If at all you want to see in the top, just I will show you now. This is the workpiece and this is the pilot. Okay, drilled hole. First hole is drilled like this, that is with respect to the rest. Next, again it is adjusted, next hole will be cut like this. There is a continuous adjustments, and finally it comes to like this. So this much amount of hole is being cut. So how this is being cut? By adjusting this cutting tool with respect to the pilot. This is made to move in this direction as per the requirement, as you are going to see clearly on the, this is called as a body which is held firmly here at the center. Okay, and this cutting tool is adjustable one. Over this tool holding adjustable arm you are going to see. So this tool is adjustable. Okay, so how much we want, that much amount of material is being cut on a workpiece. So this type of operation we call it as a trepanning operation, basically used on the sheet metals. Okay, and let us understand the important questions for the today's session. Explain the reaming and tapping process. Very, very important. Reaming, I have already told. Reaming is a process of fine finishing of the hole, is called as a reaming. Previously drilled operation has to be carried out, then we require to go for the finishing of the same. Tapping is nothing but the production of the internal threads of a drilled hole, is called as a tapping process. Explain counter sinking and counter boring. This is also very, very important. Enlarging of the hole on the top surface is called counter sinking. Counter boring means enlarging the previously drilled hole. Sketch and explain the working of radial drilling machine. These are the expected questions based on the today's session. So all the students require to write the answers in a separate notebook. Okay, and also one more thing I wanted to tell you in this only, there is a possibility that you may be called in this week. We don't know tomorrow, day after tomorrow, for the vaccination purpose. Already the process, already there is a notice from the government that we require to make the arrangement of the vaccination for the students, especially those who have crossed 18 years. Okay, already you have filled in the Google form. According to that, we take out the printout, and you require tomorrow or day after tomorrow you may be called for coming to the college in connection with the vaccination. So that is why make yourself free and come and attend the vaccination drive, which will be executed in our institution only. Okay, very very important, and all the students have to be vaccinated before we start with our physical classes. Okay.